Hello, everyone. Thank you all for joining for an Attitude of Gratitude program today. Before we get started, we're actually going to have a short icebreaker so we can get to know each other a bit better before we move into the actual program. So how the icebreaker is going to work is we're going to each say our name and a highlight of our week. We're going to do a popcorn system. So once you're done sharing your highlight of the week, you can call on someone else to share. I'll be going first. My name is Bharat, and a highlight of my week was I actually was able to have a Zoom call with some of my friends over the weekend, and it was just really nice getting to like talk to them and just interact with them like after such a long time. So, yeah. Anshu, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Hey everyone, I'm Anshu, and a highlight of my week was that this week my robotics team at school started a new project, and it's pretty fun. Niharika, you can go next.
Sorry. A highlight of my week was a singing class I had, and my teacher showed us something really new and fun. So that was exciting, and I was able to share with a friend as well. Popcorn mania.
Hi everyone, I'm Manya, and the highlight of my week was probably talking to some of my friends this last weekend because it's been like a really busy time and not a lot of us have like time to interact with each other. So it was just like better. And for the people just joining in, we're just doing an icebreaker, and the question is, what was the highlight of your week? And I just went. Survey, do you want to go?
So the highlight of my week was probably talking to my friends a little more than usual. So that's been nice. Should I popcorn someone? Jeremiah, did you go?
Hi, I'm Jeremiah, and kind of the highlight of my week was like sometime around this week. I got like sick, but I got like a lot of sleep and that was nice. It was like kind of just reminded me like, oh, just take the day off, and so that was really nice. Veda, how you done?
Veda, we can't hear you. I think you have to like go into your Zoom settings, so like the arrow, and like choose your microphone as your headphones because we can't hear you. Can she hear us? You can hear us? Okay. Well, the thing is we can't hear you because you're on your headphones. So if you go to like the audio button and like the small arrow, you can change your microphone settings to your headphone.
Hello?
Yeah, now we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So my highlight of this week, I had my 14th birthday on Wednesday. So, yeah. I don't know who's went, so I popcorn Anjika. Thank you, Surabhi.
Okay, so I didn't, hi, I'm Anchika. I didn't have too many highlights, but I guess one would be that my friend's parents finally got Netflix and we've been waiting to watch. So I teach her Hindi. So we've been waiting to watch because okay, we watched Bahubali 1 because that was easy to pirate. And so we've been waiting to watch the second one since like December, and so she finally got in. That was nice. So we still have to plan everything though. So I will popcorn to Anushri.
Yeah, my name is Anushri, and the highlight of my week was I went on a bike ride, and it was really refreshing. Anya, did you go?
No, I didn't really have a highlight this week. I just had a lot of homework. Yeah. I popcorn. I don't know who's gone yet because I joined a little late. Bharat?
I actually already went, but I think Advika still has to go. So you can feel free to unmute.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Advika, and the highlight of my week was, yeah, I don't think I really had any, but hopefully I'll have one next week.
Okay. For those of you who just joined, we're just doing a short icebreaker, sharing out our name and a highlight of our week. And I think we only have Zadie, if I'm pronouncing that right, and Nick left to go. So Zadie, do you want to start by sharing like a highlight of your week?
Let's see. A highlight of my week was I got to see a friend that I haven't seen in a couple months. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for sharing. Nick, do you want to also share out a highlight of your week? Okay. Nick, I think once you get back, you can write it in the chat because I think we should get moving so that we have time to cover all the content we have for today. So just thank you guys all for sharing out your highlights of the week. It was great hearing about all the different things that you guys did. And we encourage you guys to keep your cameras on just so that we can have like a personal kind of feeling and really get to like know you guys better. So yeah, thank you all for joining and we'll get moving into the program.
All right. Thank you very much, Bharat, for that icebreaker. And so I know for a lot of you, it's your first time here today at Spiritual Youth Circle. So I just like to quickly go over what Spiritual Youth Circle is about and what we actually do here. So this is really an informal program where we just discuss topics together, and it's not really like a lecture where you sit down and then you listen. We have a lot of participation and discussions on various topics. So today's topic is an attitude of gratitude, or more so cultivating gratitude. But sometimes I'm sure you've all heard of gratitude before, and maybe have had speakers talk about gratitude. But sometimes I think for me personally, there's things that prevent me from actually practicing gratitude. And one of those is greed. And so, as you all know, greed is not something that only bank robbers have. It's more of a prevalent feeling that maybe you might have experienced. And so I just like to share a personal anecdote of my own where I experienced greed, and maybe you can find it somewhat relatable. So a couple of years ago, I had an Android phone, and it was an okay phone. I could call, I could text, I could do a lot of things, but in my mind, I always wanted to have an iPhone, and that's just a dream phone that I wanted to have. And so I had the Android phone, but then one day I accidentally lost my phone, and I was really scared. I thought my parents would be super mad. And I went home, but my parents were actually quite understanding. And then my dad told me that I'll get you a new phone the next day. And so now I was really happy. I thought, oh, wow, I'm getting a new phone. I should probably start losing my phone more often so that I can get a new phone each time. And so then the next day he came back and he handed me a box, and I opened the box, and inside there was the exact same phone that I previously had. And so now you can maybe put in the chat, do you think I was still happy that I got a new phone? Oh, wow. No, probably not. Yeah, I wasn't happy at all. I had the exact same phone, and really I just was quite disappointed. And then a couple of years later, I ended up getting an iPhone a few years later. And even after getting an iPhone, newer models started being released, and then I started wanting those. So really, I just didn't get happy even after getting an iPhone. Does it seem like somewhat familiar of maybe in your life you always wanted something, and then once you actually got it, you didn't actually get happy? Yeah, hopefully it's not just me with this experience. And so what does this really mean? In life, people have a natural tendency to desire. If someone wants a car and they get a car, they'll want a better car or a bigger car. And that's fine. But when you get wrapped up in the process of always wanting more, then you might actually lose sight of what you have in the moment. And why is this the case? That's because material ambition has its limitations. If you have $1 million or $1 billion, you can have all the money in the world. at the end of the day, there's still only a certain amount of food that you can fit in your stomach. You can't really go past that limit, or there's only a certain amount of time that you have to go travel places. So really, there's there's not really a formula for ultimate happiness if you just try to use material ambition, because you're bound by the constraints of your senses. And so I just like to take, if anyone has any reflections on maybe you always trying to want more, but then never actually getting there. If anyone has any personal anecdotes.
Yeah, I have something. So when I was like in elementary school, people had like those Adidas shoes. Do you guys remember that phase that everyone like had those white shoes with the black stripes? And I was like, I want those. And then when I got them, they like somehow changed it. Like, yeah, it's still going and I still haven't, I don't have them still. Like, it's so crazy. I still don't have them. But like, and then the change to like black shoes with like white stripes. And I was like, what is happening? So I always wanted those, but like instead I got Vans, but I still wasn't happy. So like I just feel like it's like you're never like satisfied with anything. Like you always want what you can't have kind of thing. So I really relate to that idea.
Yeah, I've also had similar experiences of like trying to keep up with what clothes to wear, but then it just every year it's a new thing. So yeah. Anyone else have any reflections?
Yeah, for me actually when I was in elementary school also, like I wanted to always get a bunch of like new toys, like like I think they were called Hot Wheels and like Beyblades. Those are like the thing when I was in elementary school. So I used to always want more and more, but like when I got them, I would like play with them for like a week at max, and then I'd get bored of them. So I need to get more and more, and I just like was never really satisfied, and it got to the point where I have like 50 of them laying in my garage right now. So it's kind of sad.
Yeah, I remember I used to collect Pokemon cards, and they're literally just paper, but I used to obsess over getting cards like when I was like very young. So yeah. Any final reflections?
I just remembered my phase was Rainbow Loom. Like once I got like a mini kit, and then I was like, nah, I don't want this mini kit. I want the real deal. So then I got like a bunch of rubber bands, and now same for me. They're just laying in my garage. I never use them.
Yeah, those are really great examples, and really it just goes to show that even if you like if you always want more and you keep wanting more and you don't actually focus on what you have, you will never actually be happy. And so we've created this graphic here, and you'll see how amazing it looks. And so I just like to show this. I'll just screen share, and then I'll show this image, and then maybe a new voice can share what they see on the screen. Okay, so if you can see the screen, you can just unmute and say what you see here. It's not a difficult question, just say what you see on the screen.
A black dot.
Yes, exactly. That's correct. There is a black dot. But in this entire in this picture right here, this black dot is actually quite insignificant compared to all of this white space around here. There's actually, this black dot is really just a small part of this entire screen. It's just, like, most of it is actually white space. And so really this just shows that sometimes in life, even though there's so much good that's happening, sometimes we only focus on that little black dot. And we just think of, in this whole thing, all we see here is this black dot. You don't even care about all of this white that's over here. And this is something that I've personally also experienced, that even though I actually achieved something or everything's going well, I just focus on the troubles that are in my life. And does anyone have any similar experiences where even after achieving something, or even though you have so many blessings, you just focus on the issues that are in your life? You can unmute and share as well.
Yeah, I have had those experiences. So my family, we've like moved a lot, and it just like gets really hard to adjust to a new place, like make new friends, like, and it's like really weird because you have to like get to know how people do things like everywhere around. And like when I moved, I was like really focused on the bad parts. Like I lost all these friends, like I may never talk to any of them, like everything else. But like looking back, I think it was like a good change for me because I got to experience something like I wouldn't have experienced before. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a great example. Yeah, I've also had my own experiences moving. So yeah. Anyone else? Mhm.
Yeah, for me, like every time if we go on like a vacation or something, or like for like a long weekend we like go somewhere, I feel like a lot of times I just like focus on the bad parts, like, oh no, we missed our like train, or like it's like the flight's getting delayed or something, but I don't actually realize that we're like I'm getting like the chance to like go on a vacation to like some other place. So yeah, that happens.
Yeah, I think that also really, if you're literally there, you're in a new place, but still you have some issues that you're focusing on. Yeah. Anyone else? Okay. Feel free to unmute if you ever think of anything. But I think this just goes to show if for all the examples that I've heard so far, just focusing on small issues in your life might actually not help you if you forget all the good that's happening in your life. And so really this is we've seen all these different impediments and hindrances to actually practicing gratitude, but now we can actually get into more of how to practice gratitude and more about gratitude.
Yeah, thank you so much for all the wonderful points and like really explaining the nature of greed against gratitude. So I think by now we've understood that gratitude entails a positive mindset. And since mindset is such a constant in our lives, we can practice gratitude in a more spontaneous way. So let's figure out how to actually employ this spontaneity. So usually when people discuss practicing gratitude, the tip of keeping a gratitude journal comes up, and it's often very common and it can possibly even be imposed. So it can be harder to come up with like a genuine sentiment of gratitude. So I am a freshman in high school and we are required to take this health class. So one of our assignments was to do a gratitude journaling thing, and we had to pinpoint 3 things we were grateful for. So I was led to thinking, well, I am grateful for the roof over my head and my quality education and this organization that I'm associated with, but how do I really feel like I'm grateful for these things? And how do I really act like I'm grateful for that? So I was realizing that it was harder to pinpoint these feelings that hold genuine sentimental value. So I'm wondering if this is just me, or if anyone else has experienced something like this, had a remotely hard time gratitude journaling, and if you would mind like sharing your experience or what you found was hard about it.
I think I can share. When I've tried gratitude journaling in the past, I think my main difficulty was it becoming very ingenuine. Like I would say, like as you said, like I'm grateful for my mom, I'm grateful for the roof over my head, and like not really feeling it, like not being in the place to feel that. Really like, oh, I'm actually grateful for this.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I'm just reading the chat. Yeah, I know what you mean too. Yeah. Does anybody else want to share?
Yeah, I was remembering this thing. So in 8th grade, we had this Yosemite trip, right? And in the span of like 5 days, they made us have like this journal to fill out every day. And it was like, what did you do every day? And like, what are you grateful for? And like, I filled it out, but like, I really regretted doing it. Like, I didn't enjoy doing it. So I tried it again and it got so repetitive. Like, how much can you even write? But I feel like that experience really helped me like develop those feelings kind of. And also, not just writing gratitude, but like why you're grateful for it can kind of help. So that's what I think.
Thank you. Thank you so much, all of y'all. So one of the things I've realized is that it's harder, and I find myself not giving due regard to the things in my life because, and especially if they're normalized. So how do we feel gratitude towards the normal things in our life? One way is by going without it. So I remember I was really, really grateful to having shampoo when I ran out. I was like, dang, shampoo is really awesome. But I'm guessing we've encountered a similar situation of realizing that the value of something when it's gone, when COVID hit, because we were stripped of all of our normal ways of going about. And that's when we kind of really realized the value of them and realized that we should have appreciated what we considered normal more. I've also heard people saying this and sharing the sentiment that they should have appreciated normal more when they're older or they've moved into a different place physically or in their lives. And I think Stephen Wright very concisely mentions this by saying, you never know what you have until it's gone. So this idea of recognizing normal goes hand in hand with utilizing and really taking full advantage of what we have been given. And I think this is one of the fundamental ideas of gratitude and practicing gratitude, because we can incorporate it into our behavior and our interactions with the world and the world's people. So currently we've been given Zoom school. This is kind of our new normal. So I was thinking about my assignment in health class, and I was like, well, since I'm grateful for my education, I can practice my gratitude by taking full advantage of it, by, for example, participating in class and being interactive with my teachers, turning my video on, putting my phone away, and really paying attention in class. And since I'm grateful for my home, I can put in the effort to maintain it and take care of it, possibly even clean it. And similarly, for example, if you're grateful for your beloved family, then you can take out the time to spend with them or help them with housework and just be a fun and active family member. These are just some examples. Some of them are pertaining to me, but now can we think about ourselves? So try to think of something that you are grateful for that you might have otherwise taken for granted or considered normal. So once you've got it, really explore the idea and go into the depths of that thing. Try to appreciate it and recognize how you benefit from it, because even if it's normal is great because it adds to the consistency in our lives, and we really need consistency. So we can just take a few moments to acknowledge even the feelings that are brought about by appreciating.
Well, I was thinking of something. So what I started was I started making fruit smoothies this past 3 weeks. And it's just been a constant thing in my lifestyle. I make them at 8 p.m. and my mom's like, why aren't you eating dinner? Why? And it's just so nice because it's so aesthetic. You'll put granola on top and all the, yeah, right? And you put fruits on top and it's just so nice to see. But they keep running out. My fruits keep running out. And my mom's like, if you don't do chores, I won't get fruits for you. Imagine having that, your parents will be like, yeah, you'll get a good thing. But for me, it's getting fruits for the smoothie. So I kind of feel grateful for just being able to make it. So yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. Does anybody else want to share what they're grateful for? And actually, there's a second part of this, but if somebody wants to share the first part, then we can go into the second part. Soika?
Yeah, I was thinking about when you said that, I started doing a gratitude journal maybe last year. And so I wrote down something I was grateful for every day. And I've been doing it since quarantine started too. And during quarantine, I think especially because we're consistently around each other and consistently butting heads. My mom and I have been arguing all the time, getting on each other's nerves. And she always gets on my nerves, and she's always like, you're getting on my nerves. And I'm like, I don't know. We just argue. And so I started doing my gratitude journal. And so every day I wrote down just one thing that I was grateful for. And I was doing it every day. And then 2 weeks passed and I looked back and I was like, let's see what I was grateful for. I look back and 3 out of the 5, I was going to say 5 days in the week, 3 out of the 7 days in the week, or even more than that, it's something my mom did. I'm grateful. My mom went to Target and got me Oreos because I wanted Oreos or something like that. And then I was like, dang, like even though I feel like I'm in a constant state of annoyance with her, like she does so much for me, and like I'm like grateful for it when I think about it and I write it down. And then I look back, I'm like, damn, like she does so much for me. Like I'm like grateful. And so it's something I didn't even realize until I started doing this like gratitude practice, that like, oh wow, there's this aspect too. But yeah.
That is so sweet, and I really like that. Thank you for sharing. So kind of we've recognized that what we're grateful for, and if it's normal, it's fine too. So let's kind of go into thinking about how we can practice our gratitude for it. So thinking in terms of action steps, so we don't like regret in the future not utilizing what we had for normal. Action steps like turning your video on in Zoom class, stuff like that. Okay.
So here I can go. So you're asking like what action steps we can take for like expressing gratitude, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I personally never had like a gratitude journal, but one way I like to like express gratitude is like kind of by like paying it forward. So for example, like in college, a big part of my college education and like the field I'm in was like getting internships, getting like work experience, things like that. And so a big part of that was like getting mentored and getting advice from other people that are older than me, like having them review my resume, giving them like networking with people, finding different contacts to help me like get where I want to go. And so what I like to do is like, like, you can always thank them and stuff like that. But another way you can kind of express like your gratitude for how they like helped me is that like by passing it on to someone else. So like now that I'm kind of like older, a bit more experienced, I have like my internships under me. Like when people ask me for help, I like do the best I can to help them, kind of like pass the knowledge down from like pass the tips and tricks like they might have given me down to like someone else.
That is really, really thoughtful. And I think I might take you up on that. I need advice. Yeah, the chat. Awesome. Thank you all for sharing. And I'm sure that your presence and like appreciativeness of this aspect of your life will be beneficial. So apart from action steps to practice and express and bring out true gratitude, another way we can really appreciate the value of something and be genuinely grateful for something is understanding the hard work put into it. So for the organization that I was grateful for when I was thinking about gratitude journaling, I researched its beginnings and I tried to see what it is now versus what it was back then. And this allowed me to see like the different growth that happened in different fields. And it gave me new facts and a story to marvel upon and how it somehow connected to me in the end. So similarly, if you want to know how you're so well situated in your hometown, you can ask your parents about how they got there in the beginning. So these newfound understandings can help us be genuinely grateful and for the things that we write about or the things that we say. So it can help us move away from empty words. So now that we've covered how it's possible to transform a faltering sentiment of gratitude into a feeling that holds more value, we can go into other effective ways of having gratitude be actionable.
Yeah, thank you, Niharika, for those amazing points about sentimental value. And so when we build our gratitude, it's really important to think of the people and the relationships that we're grateful for because, like they said before, they're one of the largest contributing factors to our happiness. And you can express gratitude for them. You can thank them verbally, or you can write a letter. Or if you receive gratitude, you can pass it on to others, like Yesh said. And so the small menial acts like this, they can be the most impactful during the tough times of someone's life. And they can also impact yours for the better. So gratitude goes hand in hand with contentment. And to feel content, it's really essential to look at the positive parts in life. And in any situation that we're in, we can always try to look on the positive side instead of being pessimistic. You can think, this is not what I want right now, but this is what I need to grow because you can even be grateful for your setbacks because they teach you how to adapt to life and things like that. So a lot of times 10% of a situation is what happens to you and 90% of a situation is how you choose to deal with it or react to it. And another thing is that disappointment can bring us to the past and anxiety brings us to the future, but gratitude can take us to the present because we're thinking about the things that we currently have instead of things that we did before that were problems or things in the future that we want to do. And so our perception on this changes everything. And this also applies to our relations with other people as well. We can seek out the positive in others instead of not just things and situations. So try to challenge yourself to minimize complaining and criticizing, to refrain from speaking negatively about people, and instead try to appreciate things about them. Yeah, so the next time that you're faced with a seemingly bad situation, you can always try to identify at least one positive thing. Because even if things are looking unfavorable that day, you can always try to feel grateful for something in your life. And for example, you can appreciate a warm home or some drinkable water, or you can even think that I have the gift of breath, like breathing. And so we takes things like these really granted for we take things like these granted for really easily. And so when we intently appreciate these things in life, gratitude journaling, which is a big tip, becomes the most impactful. And so, in order to show gratitude on a daily basis, we can become more optimistic because we're choosing to see more positivity in life other than giving less power. We give less power to our negative emotions by seeing more positive. And so the positive aspects are probably already drifting around in your subconscious, but writing them down can make them more concrete and real because you see it in front of you and it's written down. So the best part about gratitude journaling is that it's really easy habit to practice every day, and you can pair up gratitude journaling with something you already do on an everyday basis, like brushing your teeth or eating breakfast. And to help out with gratitude journaling, some prompting questions are what matters in your life and why it matters, so you can write that down. Also, if you run out of new things to be grateful for every day, you can always look back at the inspiring collection of material that you already wrote down in your gratitude journal before, if you're in need of a pick-me-up. And you can also use Niharika's tips about actually feeling the sentiment of gratitude. And yeah, so gratitude journaling is an overall wonderful way to be content daily. And yeah, so if you're grateful for someone, you can do something for them. If you're grateful for something, take full advantage of it. And if you're lacking genuine sentiment, you can find out the beginnings of it. And in this way, you can easily incorporate gratitude into your daily life. And also, gratitude is all about just changing your perspective on things, and it's a choice, so you should make that choice. If anyone has any reflections, they can say it. If they don't, we can go on to the next point by Mani.
I was thinking of something actually. So last class we talked about like motivation if you were there, but one point that came up was like normal practices like eating or like brushing your teeth. And you may not like to brush your teeth, like I don't know, like some people might not, but you still do it because you see the effects of it. Like I'm sorry for that example, but like I think it just applies here. Like you do it because you see the effects of it. So like gratitude journaling, like just not like forcing ourselves to do it, but like seeing the effects of it can like actually help us to like pursue it. So yeah. Okay, well, I can go on the third point, and the third.
I had a quick thing.
Oh, sorry, Niharika, you can go.
When you were talking about being in the present moment, I just remembered that there was this one time I went on a walk and we were walking through a field, and I was kind of just like pondering things about like the past and the future. And I was telling my mom about these things. And then I was like, wait, like the park is so pretty and the weather's so nice. Like, why am I thinking about all these things? So I just sat there and I was like, how do I like be mindful and present in the moment? And I thought the best way to do that was be grateful. And when I was like, wow, like the trees are so nice, they like provide shade and the sun provides light. When I was grateful for these things, it was more easy to be present in the moment. So it's just like a personal, sorry.
I have a reflection too. I liked how you recommended to, after you've already started a gratitude journal, look back at previous entries as a way to like remind you of the things you've been grateful for in the past. And I thought like that's so cool It's a way you can be grateful for your gratitude journal. It's like I've created this collection of positive memories. So that's something I need to practice because I have one, but I just kind of do it as like a daily chore almost. But to go back and take advantage of that, it's so awesome. Thank you.
Yeah,
I totally
like
agree.
what everyone said is definitely like something that I wasn't appreciative before. I was just thinking about Jeremiah's background. It looks like the ocean. Before, I didn't really like the ocean because it was sand and seaweed but now I just absolutely love the ocean and I can be there forever. But definitely, I want to hear from Jeremy. Definitely, that display picture is very interesting. If you don't mind, I can call upon you, bud.
Wait, were you asking on what it was like or what it's from or?
No, something that almost that you're grateful
Oh,
for,
right.
or before you didn't really enjoy it much, and then now you really appreciate it.
Hmm. I mean, I guess yeah, something that also kind of applies is oh no, ocean. Uh, was something that that someone mentioned before. I forgot who mentioned it, but just living with like family. Like I remember like in the beginning of quarantine, like after like the first couple of weeks, like I started being like kind of want to get out and just and but yeah, over time like I just realized like I'm so dependent on like my family for a lot of things. Like they help a lot around the house and just like cooking food a lot for me, and it's really nice, and it's something that I also got to kind of see over time instead of like just complaining all the time like oh it's annoying that I have to see their faces all the time. But it's yeah, it's really nice.
Survey, did you want to say something before? I think you wanted to.
I was just going to comment on the gratitude journaling point about sometimes it being like a chore. It's like, oh, let me just have to like put down stuff that I'm grateful for. But yeah, hopefully one day it won't be a chore anymore.
Okay, those are really good points. Wow. Okay, I can talk about the third point and then we can take reflections and all that. Okay, so I wanted to talk about why is it so hard for us to develop gratitude in the first place, and also the idea of like going out of your comfort zone kind of thing. So I just want to mention that gratitude does not mean in any way that you can be ambitious and go further just because you're satisfied with what you have, right? Like being satisfied with what you have is important, but it's also important to acknowledge that you can go further and be ambitious about something that you really like. And I don't know if this been like something that you guys have experienced, but I've experienced it. And I think it's important to acknowledge that because going out of your comfort zone can really help you learn something new, like shifts your focus, improves your self-esteem. There's so many more benefits. So don't feel that just because you're satisfied with your lifestyle does not mean that you can't be ambitious and go further. And I'm not saying be greedy, but also in the same moment, like maintain that balance. Okay, and then the second point was why can't we easily develop gratitude? And one thing is that no ability to appreciate is caused by our conditioning. And what does that mean? It means that we have been conditioned in a way that when it comes to appreciate something, we cannot acknowledge it even. Like it's just because of our conditioning that we've been like in this way. And the second thing is entitlement. And entitlement is the idea that I am something so special already that I deserve more. So there's like a force of entitlement that blocks the superpower of gratitude. So you can feel entitled because either you come from a really good family, you're really beautiful, etc. There's so many things, but it can really block the flow of knowledge, right? And you think that okay, there's nothing in me to appreciate. So I just want to ask to all of you, have you ever been in a state where you felt that you had no appreciation for anything, anyone? It can be for a day, for a month, for a year, for like 5 seconds. Have any of you like experienced that stage? Like, I cannot appreciate anything in my life right now. Is it just me? Are you guys like amazing people who appreciate everything?
No.
Okay. Okay, I like see head nod, so that's pretty good. But yeah, I thought about that too. And I think this directly correlates with like your appreciating capacity. And I wanted to take like a citation or like talk about from an ancient wisdom literature. And don't be like freaked out about that, but it really expresses like different points. And one thing that it expresses is about three modalities and how, according to the three modalities, we develop our appreciation capacity. And if this makes no sense, don't worry, because like I'll go deeper into that. So the three modalities is first, it's sattva. And this is a Sanskrit word. And sattva means that you have expansive appreciation, means that you appreciate everything and everyone around you, and you're not afraid to like express that. The second stage is rajas, which means you have restrictive appreciation, means that there are things I appreciate, but there are also things that I don't appreciate in my life. And then the last one, the most dangerous one, is tamas. It means I have no appreciation. And it's okay if you feel that either. It's okay. But the important part is, how can you expand your appreciation capacity to reach like that stage of expansive appreciation? And I found one point really special. It's like the statement is, whatever you appreciate appreciates. Have you guys heard about that? Okay, well, what does that actually mean? Yeah, Soika, yeah, I actually like I got it from your account also. Anyways, so that I really like that quote. And what does that really mean? It means that, so like sometimes, have you experienced something like you really liked something in your room and you just, it's like always there and you start to not notice it and it just becomes so small that it's like, I really had that. And then like guests come and they're like, wow, that painting looks so good. And the fact that they appreciated your painting makes you appreciate your painting even more, right? So when you appreciate something, you like get appreciated in return. Like, does that make sense? Do you guys like kind of get that, where I'm going with that? Yeah, so how can you bring yourself to this present and counteract this ability of not being able to appreciate something? This is also, I'm going to say a word that also comes from ancient wisdom literatures, and it's a word called akinchana, which means that I appreciate everything, but I am not entitled to it. And this reminds me of Finding Nemo. I don't know why, but in Finding Nemo, they use the phrase, just keep swimming. And as a kid, I was like, yeah, that's pretty nice. Like, I didn't really care about that word. And when I like when I'm old enough to like understand kind of what it means like you can kind of swim in gratitude by like giving back and appreciating everything that you have. So I think that was important. And Anjika, yeah, you had a wall mural. Okay, yeah, I relate to that. Anyways, I just wanted to acknowledge that. But do you guys have like any reflections up till now, like whatever I said?
Okay, I love that appreciate line. Like whatever you appreciate, appreciates. And I recently had an experience where like I kind of work at a research lab. And so I had a meeting with my lab manager. And we were just talking about like work balance or whatever, I don't know, some stuff. And then I mentioned that, oh, I get like sometimes I get anxious, like talking to other people, just because I don't know, I just do. And he was like, oh, really? Like, I wouldn't have thought that. Like, you have such strong interpersonal skills. And I was like, me? Strong interpersonal skills. And so I was like, damn, okay. And when he appreciated that in me, suddenly I was like, oh, I have strong interpersonal skills. And suddenly my interpersonal skills appreciated, like they grew more. And I was like more open to that. And so when you appreciate someone, or like their talents, then in turn their talents kind of grow and they believe in themselves more, and they grow as a person. And so I think like the power of appreciation is so like, it's so amazing how when you appreciate someone, the growth appreciates as well. So yeah.
I love that example. Does anyone have anything related to that? Okay, well, I wanted to mention this point. If you look at our world, like everything around us, it's so miraculous that there's no sunset or like a paint in the sky that is the same as the other. So everything is so completely unique. And I remember in like fifth grade, there was this like gift shop around Christmas time. Like everyone would get like $5 and go to the gift shop to get something. And I like begged my mom. I was like, I want to get you a gift. And then she was like, you're going to take my own money and get a gift for me. Like, I'm not going to give money to you. Like, how does that make any sense? But anyway, so she gave me money and I went to the gift shop and I got this pearl necklace for her that said like mom in it. And if you look at like pearls string together on a string, they look so similar, but yet so different. Like like a light is shining in the right side, something's like really small, like you can't really tell, but I think it's so unique and different. So everything around us is like so unique. And when you're in the stage of gratitude, you're naturally in the present, right? And we may possibly forget about the gifts that are surrounding us, but understanding that I am grateful for them just brings us to the present. And I was remembering this TED talk I watched, and this lady was talking about how a man like gave her a gift. And she said, if you get a gift, do you put it on the top shelf and say, wow, that gift looks so beautiful? Or do you open that present? You open that present because you know that the present on the inside is even more beautiful than the wrapping. And I think life gives us a present, now kind of like cheesy, but I know, like, I think realizing that is important. Like, it gives us a present, but we like fail to acknowledge it. And in a way, we fail to open that gift that's wrapped inside of it. So just acknowledging that this is a present and like appreciating everything, it just gives us a new perspective. And I think gratitude also comes with selfless service. So what does that really mean? Like, are you guys involved in like volunteering outside? Like, does someone want to share their volunteering experience and like why you do it apart from like school hours?
Yeah, I'm actually part of like a service club at my school, and originally I joined it just, get like the service hour requirement. But, like as I did it more and more, I realized that like just the process of doing those like small acts of service is so rewarding. Like sometimes like once we made like little bracelets for like children at the children's hospital, and like when we went to go deliver them, like the look on their faces was like super rewarding, and just seeing like how happy they were to receive that, it like inspired me to continue going.
So true. Yeah. So that comes with like selfless service, like doing something not just because you have to, but like doing it for others, right? So like whatever you do, like appreciate itself if you appreciate it in return. And I think one of the benefits of gratitude is like it helps us to like dig deep within ourselves and understand the things around us. Also, I think it's a discipline to follow. It gives like greater optimism and a greater sense of connection to others. So I think it's like a wonderful thing. And it's like a precious gift that we fail to acknowledge like itself in itself. So yeah, I hope that like really helped you understand like why we fail to express gratitude and how we can like incorporate that. And we actually have a video to show now. So Anshu, do you want to share your screen?
Yeah, sure. 1 second. Okay.
Okay, I thought that that clip was so cute. What do you guys think about that before we talk about it? Well, okay, what I noticed was in the beginning, the man was so reluctant in helping anyone. He was passing by the volunteering sign and he was like, no. And the balloon was flying, a normal person would catch it if he could, to a little girl, why would you do that? But he didn't. And then he didn't he didn't wait for the girl to come in the elevator. I think that was the first scene. But then once the woman took his hand and she they walked the pathway, and after she was done, she put a hand on his cheek and she was really happy. So in a way she appreciated him in a way. And then after that his perspective really changed, and he was helping anyone he could, and he gave back and he felt appreciation, right? I think that just correlates with selfless service, of how when you appreciate something, not only are the person you're doing it for benefiting, but you're also benefiting yourself. So I think that clip was nice, and it showed a point that I wanted to say. Did you guys like it? Or was it funny? Was it good? Okay, I see head nods. Okay.
Can I say something about it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I really liked how it showed not just that the appreciation appreciates and he became more involved over time, but that it shows that really having this attitude of gratitude is the same thing as being engaged in the world. He was all in his head thinking about how he wasn't thinking about anyone else or about how he could interact with the other people, with the environment. But then once he started being grateful, then he's like, oh, my hand can do something. I can use it to make a difference. I thought that was awesome.
Thank you. I didn't think about it that way, but that's nice.
I guess our minds can be very mean places, that man's mind must have been, but by doing something, by practicing gratitude, or by helping someone, we can automatically train our minds to be nice, to be part of this world rather than just in our own heads.
Okay, well, we had an activity that Bert can lead.
Yeah, so as we mentioned earlier, for me personally, gratitude journaling was something I tried but didn't work for me. So what I started doing was I started using prompts to help me think of stuff to be grateful for, because when I didn't have prompts, oftentimes I'll be writing the same thing after each week. So I started using prompts. So actually for our activity, we're gonna go through a few of those, 3 examples of those prompts. And if you want to share out even one of them, that's that we'd love that. So I'll be putting them in the chat and then reading them out loud. Yeah, so the first prompt is find something that you're grateful for in nature. Find something that reminds you of a happy memory. And lastly, find something that you're grateful for in your room. So I can give you guys just 20 to 30 seconds to think about these activities, and if they're in your general area, you can grab them as well and share them. So yeah, feel free to take your time, and we'll get started once everyone has their activities in mind. Okay, hopefully that was enough time to grab your items. If they're not in your direct environment, you can just feel free to talk about them. So I can go first. I'm gonna answer the second one. Find something that reminds you of a happy memory. So I don't know if you guys can see it, but I have like a medal right here, and it's from like my basketball team, and like that's what, like it was when I was in like fourth grade and we won it, and it was at state, so it was like a pretty big thing, and I felt like really happy winning it. And like just being around all my like friends when we were playing basketball was like a very happy memory for me. So whenever I see that medal, it reminds me of that time, and it honestly just like makes me a bit happier that day. So if anyone else wants to share, you can just unmute or raise your hand would also be so that we can have some like organization to this.
Okay, I can share. Or was someone saying something?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay. Well, find something you're grateful for in nature. I would probably say like sun. Like, I don't know. I just like it because I don't like winter at all. Like it's just boring. And the second thing, that reminds me of a happy memory. So I have like a painting or like a liked painting or whatever. And that painting was given by like some of my friends. So it was like in COVID and I didn't know what was happening. Like we canceled all our plans, but like some of my friends like came to my house and like I didn't know about it and like they gave me like a huge gift and I was like, whoa, I'm grateful for this. Like I didn't know about it. And like they called, they were like, okay, come out. And I was like, what is happening? Like what is happening? I was so surprised. So it reminds me of like a happy memory. Um, yeah, and then the last one was like find something you're grateful for in your room. I'd probably say like a pencil because I've had it for a long time. But yeah.
Yeah, that was really great. Anjika, do you want to share next?
Okay, so I just realized my camera is not on, which oh gosh. So anyways, I sorry about my background, but okay, so this it's weird because this is like a coconut shell. And it's just it's like an inside joke that my friends and I had once, which is okay, so we're all obsessed with like fantasy stuff. So we found it really funny that there was like such an obsession with jewelry that we all just sort of created this coconut ring and just created a story behind it. And that always makes me cheer up because the story itself is pretty outrageous. It's yeah. And another thing that I'm grateful for, I think in my room would be so I don't often use charcoal pencils, but for some reason I do have a charcoal pencil sharpener. So that's nice.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. Nick, do you want to go next?
Yeah, so this is something that I found in my room that's also reminding me of a memory. I have this T-Rex stuffed animal that was like my favorite toy growing up. I remember this is kind of like show and tell. I think I remember bringing this to show and tell like in kindergarten. So I've had it for over 20 years and it just brings me a lot of joy looking at it.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. We'll take one more from Sueka.
I have this pen and it's like a flower pen. So it has a pen on the bottom and then the flower on top. And in elementary school, in the office, the front office, they always had these pens and they had flowers on them. And I love them. Like I used to just go there and like write with the flower pen because it was so cute. And then in fifth grade, before I graduated, the lady at the front office, like we were friends because I was always late to school. And so she had to take my attendance. Anyway, that trend continued through high school too. But anyway, yeah, so we were friends and I was so excited to like write my name on the late slip with the flower pen. And when I graduated fifth grade, she gave me my own flower pen that is kind of destroyed now, but I have it. And it is like, I love it. It's like such a sweet memory from childhood. But yeah.
That's really great. Okay, thank you all for sharing. If you didn't get a chance to share, you can just feel free to think about these in your own time. And now we'll move on to announcements. So Anshu, do you want to take care of that?
Yeah, all right. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining. Hopefully you found this program informative. You can react. Did you like the program? Yes. Okay, great. Wonderful. Okay. Yeah. So congratulations, all of you. And you now have the superpower of the attitude of gratitude. Wow. Good job, everyone. And we'll be learning new superpowers each week in this 8-week set of sessions. And so also, one more thing here, I'll just share my screen. If you came earlier in the show, before the show actually started, you might have noticed that we had music playing. And so what we'd like to do is have music nominations. So if you're interested in music or if you like music, you can reach out to us or just stay afterwards, and you'll have the opportunity to nominate music clips for us to be played before the show. And we'll have a whole process for you of guidelines and also where to get music from. And then you can nominate clips and we'll be showing the music that you choose. Also, if you're interested in being a volunteer for other opportunities as well, you can stay back or contact us and we'll let you know of what we have for you. All right, and our next program is next week, same time, same Zoom link, and the program will be How to Attain Peace. So if you're interested in attaining peace, which hopefully all of you will be, you can come to our next program. Also, if you have any other questions, here's our be there or be square. Here's our next here's our email. I just put it in the chat. If you have any questions to ask us about anything, feel free to contact us. All right, thank you everyone so much for joining this program. And if you have any questions, you can stay back. If not, have a great day. Bye everyone.
You're totally right, Nick. It's not it's a circle, it's not a square. I'm wrong.
It's the group, the spiritual youth circle.